go, Cowboy Nation. Let's get this thing going the best way possible. Hit that like button, share this thing. Let's go. Nation is my name. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to talk a little bit about the Dak Prescott situation. Of course, he probably will not sign this contract that's on the table for him, and we don't know all of the details. I do know that Mike Fisher from 105.3 The Fan, shout out to him, follow his YouTube page and Twitter page or what have you, and hit him up on 105.3 The Fan, said that there was a $106 million guarantee. From what I understood, is that the $33 to $35 million contract was an older contract, really, and it's countdown time. It's about an hour out or what have you, and nothing has really trickulated down the line. Of course, we can go back and forth and see what Undisputed had to say. Mike Florio, he had some good stuff to say earlier this morning. I got that recording. We got a lot of things on the table for the Dallas Cowboys. My thing is, when we think about it, when we really think about it, Dak Prescott betting on himself, $31 million. That's a lot of coins, right? And for the last 4 years, he only made $4 million. To put this in, I guess, the right perspective, Michael Gallup made more money than Dak Prescott. Let me repeat, Michael Gallup made more money than Dak Prescott. I think Jameis Olawale, who can't even catch the ball, probably made more money than Dak Prescott as relates to being on the field, okay? So that's where we got to look at it. To me personally, I just look at it like, man, people do what they want to do. People do what they want to do. Owners do what they want to do. And when it's time for you to do something that you really want, you will make that your priority. You will make it happen one way or another. I recall, I go back, man, I'm from Natchez, Mississippi. Small town. Population is about 25,000. You can only imagine. Will we get the Cowboys game every Sunday? No. But I figured out ways, Look, and then on top of that, where I stayed at, we didn't have cable TV. It got tired of running, right? He said, man, I'm not finna run all the way out here in the country. So we had to really, on Sundays, I was the only Cowboys fan in the house, so I had to figure out, I started plotting that pretty much that Monday, man, how I'm going to get to this game, how I'm going to watch this game, who's watching the game, who's paying for the game, where do I have to go to drive to go watch this game? And I figured it out. So people do what they want to do. Now, here's the side of the situation that I want to tell most of the people that pretty much looking at this thing and saying, well, I told you, Law, they just don't love Dak Prescott. Well, here's the thing. There's some love somewhere in it, basically. When you look at it from these perspectives, you gave him an exclusive tag, and you did not allow. I got some construction workers over here today, so I'll be looking out the window, looking here and there, making sure that they're doing their job right? But when we look at it, if the Cowboys really wanted to wheel and deal, if they really didn't believe in Dak Prescott, why you give him the exclusive of the exclusive franchise tag? Why would you do that? That's the craziest thing of it all, right? They could have easily said, okay, we're going to let you test the market. We're going to see what your value, your worth, what you can get out there on the street so that we can bring that money back to the house. And they say to his house. That's what I would have done. Wheel and deal this thing. And got your coins, got your multiple draft picks, and just said, okay, now we're going to roll out the Andy Dalton formula, and we'll see what we can do from there. But people are saying that Dak Prescott is greedy. You know who the greedy folk is? You know who the greedy person is? I want to see y'all put it down in the comment box. Y'all want to know who really the greedy person? The greedy person? I want to see if you guys can put it down, man. Shout out to you, Richard, man. Fisher, really appreciate you. My dog, Tyrone Church, what's good with you, man? I.e. Byram Jones. Well, shout out to you, man. Law, my brother, this is David from the Facebook group. It's stupid. I couldn't read it. Went too fast. Wait a minute. I probably can slow it down. Tyrone Church got it correct though. Law, my brother, it's stupid what the Cowboys did. So next year franchise tag will be $38 million. So it will cost you $38 million instead. Shaking my head of 35. You right, boy. You right. Look, Tyrone said it. Chris Westery said it. John, Jerry, Wayne Jones is the greedy person. He's greedy. My dog, Eastside, made the donation to help grow the nation. Called Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins. Yeah. And the craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation, the craziest thing of it all is this right here. When I have to say this. Kirk Cousins, at the time that he did this, he went 7-9. On top of that, supposedly Kirk Cousins supposed to be this person that's supposed to elevate their particular franchise and organization. Don't you know that since he was part of the Washington team, can't say the last name, but I can put the new name in there, the Foreskins. But when he was a part of that particular team, don't you know that he was 0-4 against Dak Prescott? And he went on some type of talk show and some type of radio syndicate, and he was trying to give Dak Prescott advice. Who takes advice from a broke person, right? Or a person that never defeated you? That's crazy. Now, I do know that he won last year or what have you. And, of course, it was against a different team. It was Minnesota Vikings that he wanted. But when they throw up all of this stuff, I just got to do this right quick. I tell you what, we're gonna play this episode because I'm tired of seeing old Shay Sharp there. And then I'm gonna show you something. Hopefully the contractors don't knock on the door and say, "Law, you got to bounce," and I'll play some music and we'll jump back to this thing. But I will say this: it's crazy. Let me just play this right quick.
Guaranteed at signing.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so it's the whole guarantee is 110,
Right.
57 at signing.
Right.
And Carson Wentz got 107.9 overall, but 66 at signing.
Right.
That was in June
Right.
of 2019.
Correct.
So they're a year and a year plus.
All right, so what Skip, he called himself Drip Bayless today. What Skip is saying that Carson Wentz got $66 million. I want that to just sink into the fabrications of your mind. $66 million. Let that sink all the way in. Let it settle down in your mind. Now, is Carson Wentz, dare I say, that much better than a Dak Prescott? See, people not talking about the full languages of these contracts. They are only putting out, and it's shameful of the Dallas Cowboys, a team that we just don't like, but the team that we love, of leaking all of this information out. Can I get mad again for leaking all of this information out? How are you going to be a professional billion-dollar organization and you leaking stuff out? It's kind of like this right here. You finna get married to this lady or what have you. You with your homeboys, you with your best man, and he's telling the bridesmaids over there, hey, you know he didn't went to Jerry to get this ring, right? He went to the, it's 14 karat, but he went to the pawn shop. You know he didn't really go to Zales to get this ring. It's 14 karat though, Oh, you wanted white gold, but it's really, they had the white gold ring or the platinum gold ring, but he didn't want to spend that type of money on that one. You see, and that is what we dealing with. I don't know who is the leaking person that's leaking this stuff out to the Dallas Cowboys insiders, but they need to hush. Somebody needs to just take their hand and just slap the teeth out of their mouth, The Dallas Cowboys is the only organization out of the 32 always leaking stuff. It just leaks. It leaks out. This part of the contract, that part of the contract. And we just finna see Myles Garrett finna get a $125 million contract. And nobody heard a word of the other stuff, of when they started the negotiation. Man, we just saw Chris Jones just got his big bag, but we didn't hear the back and forth. Oh, it's saying that he wanted this, or it's saying that he want that. I'm tired of all of this leaking stuff, but that's a story of a different day. Let's listen to what they have to say.
That they got their money, or
Correct.
they've been making their money.
Right.
So the point is, Yahoo reported that Dak and Jerry looked like they had a deal. Jerry basically announced the deal to the media after the first game and said, "We are very close. It is imminent," was the word. And one of the reporters said, "Define imminent." And he said, "I'm talking about days, not weeks. Days, we should have a deal." That was after game number one. Nothing happened. He had a big game in 2 at Washington, big game 3, Miami at home. So that was Giants at Washington, Miami. Shannon Sharp is telling me garbage.
All right, it looks like they about to come back in right quick. I'm going to pause it right quick for you guys, and we're going to do a quick commercial break. Give me a few seconds while I talk to the contractor. Bear with me. Put some fires out here, and let me close this up right here. Bam, there you go. Because he's on fire, right? He's on fire. So give me a few seconds while I take care of some business over here at the house. Give me a few seconds. I will let it play, but I can't do that. You know how that goes. So give me a few seconds here, Cowboy Nation. Charge it to my head, not my heart. But at least you guys can listen to some of this. I'm back at it. All right, so there's a quick commercial break, right? You guys will watch all of those major networks, and they be selling all type of stuff as it relates to that, right? So we're going to get back to this conversation with Undisputed, and I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to this thing. Let's go with it.
Garbage, more garbage, and he lit them up. And he had a QBR average of 90 in the first 3 games and led the league. And you're saying, I'm discounting, I'm not buying. And at that point, according to Yahoo, the agent for Dak, Todd France, then he suddenly announced to Jerry Jones, he notified him that our demands just went through the roof. And Jerry said, no. We had already agreed on the money matters of this. You know, the money had been...
The framework, and we've already outlined that.
And now we just got to cross a few T's and dot a few I's. That's why the deal was imminent. Right. And listen, Jerry Jones has a terrible temper. Ask Jimmy Johnson. And I think he lost his temper at that point. It was reported that he was miffed at Dak and that he was mad at the agent.
Right.
Okay, miffed at Dak, mad at the agent. We had somebody to come on our show. I think it was Philip Tanner, and then we had Tiny Jim to come up and to really solidify what Philip Tanner was saying. What I want to say is, what was the exact game after the Miami game? Let me know. Y'all help me out. I'm going to read your comments, man, because I think it was a team that played in New Orleans, you know. But let me know if I'm wrong. What was the exact game after the Miami game? Yes, indeed. Christina, really appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to the nation. Big Ant, really appreciate you for tuning in. Matt, really shout out to you on the Facebook groove. Let's go. Rue, what's good, man? Can't get those endorsements if you don't play for those Jags, right? I feel what you're saying. I understand your logic with that. What was the game after the... Chris, what's good, baby? Yes, he put it down in the comment box. Oh, let me step all the way back. Oh, it was the Saints game. Now, we had a good philosophy going by the 1-2 combination with Tony Pollard. Can somebody put down in the comment box how many snaps did Tony Pollard had during the Saints game? Oh, we only lost by a few points, but we saw that the philosophy was different. They didn't do a lot of motions that game. They changed up the entire playbook. They did a whole lot of other things. We heard that Jason Garrett had to say, okay, well, I didn't call this or I did call that. It was crazy, the whole mindset. And I know that a few going to say, well, no, Lord, that was the first playoff team that they played. The first few teams were trash. Put it like this. They say, from where I'm from, if it's not broke, don't what? Don't fix it, right? They say if you are doing something and if it's working, keep doing it until somebody is able to stop it. Look, that only one of the touchdowns in the Saints game, or one of the bigger plays, didn't come from a what's that old reliable guy named Jason Witten. Oh, guess where it came from? The Saints defense rolled coverages towards Amari Cooper way. Of course, they played Amari Cooper uptight. They did a decent job or what have you. And I do know that he was PI'd twice. But when you roll coverage, whose the responsibility is on the tight end if he's taking it vertically up the field? If you plan either a 2-man zone, or even if you plan to cover 3 or cover 4, or even if you plan any style of defense and you're compressed to one side of the field and it's one-on-one with Blake Jarwin, what would you do with a linebacker stuck on Blake Jarwin, and if he's already gone to the second level off a free release? 9 times out of 10, you will pass it to Blake Jarwin, right? They was rolling coverages. They took a linebacker sometimes off the field, added another safety on the field, and put him on Amari Cooper's side. If you think I'm lying, go back and watch the tape. The middle of the field was wide open. They said, we'll give you the middle. Matter of fact, we embrace the fact that if you want to pass it to Jason Witten, here you go. You can nickel and dime us all day. We would give you that. But the outside edges, no way, no way. And we're going to roll coverages on Amari Cooper's side. Randall, Cobb, okay. When he comes, we'll do a switch. But in reality, if Randall Cobb do a smoke across the middle, I think that my linebacker can at least take account of knocking his head off. They gave it to they said, okay, in order for the Cowboys to beat us, they're going to have to pass the ball to the tight end. And what happened? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's a story of a different day. I had to show you guys on the film, I guess.
Miffed and mad.
Right.
Bad blood started to simmer and then seep into that relationship that wasn't great to start with because, to your point, you've made this many times, Dak, to his credit, just said, arm's length from Jerry, I'm going to be the leader of this franchise in the locker room. Right. I want everybody to be able to come to me and trust I am a player's player. Right. I'm not the owner's player.
Correct.
Okay, so great. Good on that. Mm-hmm. I'm all for that. The problem is we have hit the wall right now where it feels bad blood-ish. And remember, Dak announced, how long ago was it? It was June 22nd. He just flat out announced, I'm signing the tag right now. Well, you could have waited until today to sign the tag.
Correct.
Well, I at the point, that first point, I thought, well, is that a PR move just to make Jerry look bad? Like, he's got me. I'll just go ahead and sign this to try to put some public heat on him to go ahead and do a long-term deal? Or was it Dak just saying, heck with you? Right. You know, if this is the way you're going to play and you won't even return our phone calls or whatever it was.
And plus, I think the thing was, Skip, is that, you know what? Knowing Jerry might be devious enough just to pull the tag and says, okay, Dak, go find the car.
You could protect yourself.
Right, so let me go ahead and get my name on this. This is $31 million.
Yeah, so that argument there, it will be crass of Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones or whoever handling the contract situations to not return Dak Prescott phone calls, right? To really stick it out on the line and say, okay, we're going to make July the 15th the official date, and we're not going to hear any rebuttal from your counter argument because we feel that you kind of slapped us in the face because we had a deal on the table, and then all of a sudden you played the Giants, you played the Miami Dolphins, you played the Washington team, and you had all of these spectacular numbers, and now you kind of reneged on us, and now you trying to show us more paper that you want. No, if you don't take our first deal, it's off the table. But you just told him that you love him like a son. Now, I don't know about you all, but there's only limited things that my daughter can ask me. And if I know I have the ability to do it, I'm going to flat out do it if it doesn't compromise my overall, I guess, structure of the family upbringing. So people do what they want to do. That's all I'm saying with that. And on top of that, I just don't think that, just to be objectively speaking, if it was a situation in a case or a scenario, whereas Dak Prescott camp was trying to call Jerry and they was not picking up, boy, that would be crazy. That would be flat out crazy. Look, I wouldn't even want to play. If I'm calling my father, supposedly, and he's not all of a sudden picking up, or if I'm calling somebody that at my job, or if I'm calling somebody that I'm trying to lean on to get a deal done, and they're not picking up, 2 tears in a bucket, let me play somewhere else. Oh, you not allowing me to trade? Well, I'll sign this franchise tag then. Give me the 31. I'll play on it, what have you, but I won't give you my all. That's just being how
that was against his cap.
Fair enough. So, bottom line to everything we just discussed, it feels like a sad day to me. And I hate to be a pessimist here, but it's feeling like a dark day in Cowboy Nation because
it is, yeah.
It's not that Dak is leaving, because he's not leaving.
Right.
It's not like Dak is on his way to the poorhouse, because he's not on his way to the poorhouse. He's going to make $31.4 million, which is the 8th highest salary. I don't love the lack of comfort zone. I don't love the message it sends to the football team.
It doesn't.
Again, Jerry's not all in on the quarterback right now. Mm-hmm. If Jerry's not all in, are we all in?
Right.
We think we are, but we're not sure.
Right.
So all that adds up to what just happened. I'm blindsided by this because of what you just said. Jerry's reputation, he's almost notorious for overpaying his stars. Mm-hmm. He comes to love them like sons. Mm-hmm. Maybe he doesn't love that guy like a son. But look what just happened. Amari Cooper got $20 million after he quit 3 times on the road. What?
Yes.
And DeMarcus Lawrence, the harder I look at that contract, the worse it gets given his lack of production last year.
Oh, my goodness. Look at Shay Shaw. Yes. Hey, we painted ourselves in a corner with my dog, D-Law. He earned his contract. And you would think that they learned from D-Law's situation, but they didn't learn. They franchise tagged D-Law. Instead of saying that, okay, he's worthy of the $13 million. How much money they paying D-Law now? Is it 19, close to $20 million? It could be right at 20, I believe. But they had a situation where they could have paid the man 13. But they said, okay, we'll let you play on the franchise tag. Almost franchise tagged him again. That's when he said, hold on. I did what you said you wanted me to do when I played on the franchise. I didn't give you guys no lip. I just went out there and played on that money. I can't make this stuff up. And we going through the same situation. Buddy, I tell you.
Yes.
I want you guys to help me out. What is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? Can somebody give me the name of that word that you put there? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Give me the name of that word that goes
makes $21.5 million a year. It's a lot of money, man. And Zeke got 15 a year, and I'm starting to think Jerry won that deal, but Zeke didn't give you 15 million bang for your buck last year because Amari, D-Law, and Zeke all had career worst years last year after they got their money. So Jerry, you could argue, is sitting back right now saying, I can't do it again. I just did it 3 times and lost.
Well, it's just hard for Dak, Skip. It's just hard for Dak to see everybody around him get paid. And then now it's his turn. He's waiting patiently.
I got it. But remember, he doesn't have the greatest bargaining power right now. He doesn't have the best leverage because I keep reminding everybody going into last year, the players voted on the top 100 players in the National Football League via NFL.com.
Correct.
He didn't even make the top 100.
No, he did not.
And I was outraged over it, but Jerry's got to be sitting back saying he didn't even make the top 100.
But the problem that I have with this, Skip, when Dak Prescott was taking them to 13-3, and he won Rookie of the Year, and he made $400,000, Jerry Jones had the pom-poms on saying what a franchise quarterback he's got.
Yep.
When he struggles a little bit the next year, but he's like, you look at the injuries he had, he says, I think my quarterback played unbelievable. Then he follows that up, wins the division, and wins a playoff game. Yeah. All your fans, Dak is better than this guy. Give me Dak over Russell Wilson. Give me Dak over Aaron Rodgers. Now it comes time to get paid. Oh, Dak doesn't deserve a $20 million. You see how it flipped?
Okay.
Dak says, hold on, wait a minute. I'm the same guy that won those two divisions. That's been underpaid for 4 years.
What do you always tell me? I agree with that.
But
it's what have you done for me lately? And lately what he did was, after a 3-0 start, they really struggled. He started.
Hey, so hold on.
There is 265 in the chat. Smash that like button and show support.
Yes, indeed, Tony, man. Really appreciate you so much, man, for dropping that $5 on your mind, man. Appreciate you, man. And you on time with it, baby. Look, here's the thing, man. It's crazy because the same argument will be this right here. People so quick to say, well, the Cowboys play in a trash division. Cowboys play in a trash division. Cowboys play in a trash division. You can just type in trash division. And on top of that, they go back and forth with saying that. But there's no other division that got more Super Bowls than the NFC East. There's no other division that plays each other rough, rugged, and hard. Let me repeat. There's no other division that plays each other rougher than the NFC East. Case in point, the AFC East, I think that's the AFC East where Tom Brady won all of those Super Bowls. He did everything that needed to happen, right? But when he got to the Super Bowl, he only lost to the teams that's from the NFC East, right? So one can argue if he played those teams on a daily basis, who knows what would have happened, But he's the only person that get a pass for beating up on some chumps or what have you. And I think that out of this division, we are the only division that when people look at it and they can say, well, this is the trash division. Why is it such that? But any other team, when they play up on or beat up on a horrible team, they get all of the love. They get all of this, oh, wow. They put up 50 points. They put up 30 points. But when it comes down to Dallas, it's against trash division. I don't understand that argument. And when we think about what Dak Prescott did last year, he put up nearly 5,000 yards. And I went back and I told people, okay, that Minnesota Vikings game, yes, we lost that game, but you can't really put that all on a Dak Prescott. Don't you know that he was torching those DBs over there in Minnesota land? Oh, it was the coach that wanted to run against a brick wall. Oh, and in the monsoon, and this is not me trying to make up things, but in the monsoon against the Patriots, it took two. I'm going to repeat, 2 phantom tripping calls that took the momentum in a block punt kick. And all of a sudden, our lockdown supposedly cornerback, Byron Jones, against a rookie, got used and abused. But on the flip side, people would say that, well, Tom Brady put up 5,000 yards against us in that game in the monsoon. But in reality, coaching and officials played a major role in that. And Dak, yes, he was not all the way up to par. And on top of that, Amari Cooper. Go back and listen to what Amari Cooper had to say about his route running, and go listen to Gilmore. If I seen the route one time, I know that they're going to run it again because that's the treat. And we already know how the Cowboys operate. Oh, my goodness, I digress. Let's listen to the rest of this stuff. I know some people are not going to want to hear it.
To feel the heat, he started to crumble. They ended up at 8-8. He missed the Pro Bowl. He missed a lot of throws down the stretch that he didn't miss the year before. And again, it's Now, what did you just do for me? Not that much.
Hold on. What about those stats you were talking about? About they had 400-plus yards and they won by 10 points and all that. Where are all these stats that you were giving me during the season when I was trying to tell you? You said nothing about Dak was not performing up to task. You said
I
he's
did.
right.
I did love New England at Philly.
Yeah, but I was talking about New Orleans, and I was going way back. I was like, no, everybody, Dak is this. You just a Cowboy hater. Now everybody, Dak is not worth this. Skip, you cannot expect Dak to give you a discount or take comparable money to Wentz and Goff, considering they had still 2 years left. Dak is free. So that's at least 20% more than what they got in bonus money.
Okay, now we get to the bottom line X factor to this discussion, and there's been little to no reporting on this.
Right.
And that is exactly how much is Dak an agent demanding?
Correct.
What are they demanding?
Right.
No reports on that.
No reports.
I was told early on by someone who's in the middle of this who should know, Dak's agent is, and this was the quote I was given, is overplaying his hand. I'm sort of projecting this out, that they were in the 40-plus million ask range.
Right.
Because they were looking at Patrick Mahomes getting 45-ish, which he did.
Right.
I think they educated.
4 years of their career.
Yep.
Who was better, Romo or Dak?
That guy.
Okay, Jerry had no problem.
But I thought that guy was better than Romo at every step and stage.
I mean, Skip, think about it. Think what he's done. He's won 40 games in his first 4 years. In his first 4 years, there are not very many quarterbacks that can say they've done that. He did that. So no matter what you think about him, Skip, and remember I was talking to you. I said, Skip, this is a Dak, this is a Zeke-led.
Somebody need to send Shay Sharp a Dak Prescott jersey, man. I got 5 on it, man, from my guy Tony, man. We need to send Shay Sharp a Dak Prescott jersey, man. And we don't want to hear him next year or this year or what have you talking ill of Dak Prescott when he plays on this franchise tag, because he's going all the way in on Skip Bayless or Sayless, however you want to call it. You know, and on top of that, he's speaking facts too. I love it.
Football team. You was like, no, it's Dak. Even everybody the Cowboys, our quarterback is good. Now all of a sudden, it's time for him to get paid, and you bring up every negative.
What? Paid Mahomes ballpark money?
Well, you know already.
I can't defend that.
No, okay, I'm saying. So are you? So Dak, I don't see a scenario, Skip. The going rate now moving forward for quarterbacks, you got to start with.
That was the end of that one. Hey, so with all that being said, Cowboy Nation, look at my dog Mark Holmes up there, man. Really appreciate him as well. So when we start talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the way they handle their business and the way they handle their affairs as it relates to all of this, we can say to ourselves, man, here's the thing. This is all the wrong way to handle these. It's flat out the wrong way, because now we got a great divide within the organization. We got a great divide in how we operate and how we see the Cowboys. And it's not a good feeling. It's not a good vibe at all. It's one of those situations where I'm looking at it like, we self-inflicted our own wounds, right? Think about this. I seen, shout out to you guys that put up their old boys getting, $21 million, that's D-Law. Shout out to y'all. And thank y'all for putting that word in my mind, the insanity, right? Let me put some fire under here. The insanity piece of doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. I don't know. For those who got a quick math situation, the money for D-Law was going to be right at 13 to 14 million. Now it's 21 million. Can you guys calculate how much of a jump of an increase that is for all of my math whizzes out there? Y'all help me out, man. You know, from 14 to 21 percentage wise. So we pretty much talking about the same thing. The Dallas Cowboys from the end of 2018 could have gotten my dog Dak Prescott for like 27, 28 mil. For real. But they end up not doing it because they lollygag, they pussyfooted around. And now they got to pay more. That's just how it goes. You fool around and you don't handle your business. And if you don't take care of your business, this is what you're going to end up doing, paying more. Now, if the Cowboys were wise and if they were not all the way sold in on Dak Prescott, then they should have did it just like this. Dak, we're going to let you test the market. We're going to put a tender on you. 2 first-round draft picks, maybe, because I know he can get 2 first-round draft picks. Don't tell me that he can't. I saw Laramie Tunsil. What he got? 2 first-round draft picks to go to what was that team? The Texans. They gave up 2 firsts to get him. I think that even Jalen Ramsey, somebody paid 2 firsts or something like that to get him. Let me know where I'm lying, Cowboy Nation. Help me out with my math, my arithmetic. Help me out with all of those things. I need your help. Boy, I need y'all help, man. Because I'm trying to figure this thing out one way or another. We trying to get to the bottom of this. A 66 increase, Paul. 125% increase from 14 million to 21 million. That's a lot. It seems as if, though, I might have to go back to another commercial break. Y'all hold tight for me, man. Let me That's gonna go platinum. Watch. Let's go. Yeah, I'll be right back. Let's go. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna listen in to some more stuff in a few. Network. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best of Soft Souls, hits, and oldies. Really appreciate you all, man. I'm back into this thing. Let me see. I don't know if it was 125% increase, but it is what it is. Planet Dalton. Okay, y'all really on Andy like that. I don't know. I saw some balls that Andy threw last year, and if you think you complaining about Dak Prescott, boy, I got another one coming for you as it relates to arm strength and some of those accuracies and things like that. But I know people going to say, well, it was over there in Cincinnati land. Well, we will find out. We shall and we should soon see. Let's listen to... I want to go through this, and then we can go through the natural talk show of all of this. Let's go through this right here, though. And Mike Florio, I think that's how you say his name, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but, I listen to him. He's kind of like the Skip Bayless with a little bit more sense to him on Twitter / whatever syndicate radio station that he's on. So that's how I'm looking at it. But let's listen to what he had to say.
With the fact that I got up, I was able to be productive. I got a couple of stories posted while I was waiting for the call. I was just alarmed that as of 8:09 a.m. Eastern, I hadn't heard from you. I checked the text messages. You said, how about 8ET, not CT, ET, and the C and the E are very far apart, relatively speaking, on the keyboard, so it wasn't like a proximity error. You typed 8ET, meaning to type 8CT, which is fine. It's not the first time it's happened. I'm fine with that. But apology accepted conditionally, and it's good to talk to you guys as always.
Mike, where do we stand with all of this? We have different reporters saying there's been no conversation since March. Jane Slater, who's listening right now, says the offer is between 33 to 35 with over $100 million guaranteed. The deadline is at 3. Where do you think things stand, and where are we going with it?
Well, the key is the amount of the guarantee as it applies to the number of years that the Cowboys want. The guarantee isn't high enough to justify a 5-year deal. If they want a 5-year deal, I think one way to get Dak to consider it is to significantly bump the guarantee on a 5-year deal. If it was a 4-year deal, the guarantee would be acceptable. He still wants 4. The Cowboys want 5. There have been no conversations since March. And the thinking is that if the Cowboys were going to make some sort of a late push, they would have at least done something this week to lay the groundwork for it. Now, maybe there's some strategy that someone came up with that they're going to swoop in hours before the final deadline and make him an offer he can't refuse. But
yeah, I agree with what Mike Florio is saying, making them an offer that they can't refuse. And he talking about Dak Prescott camp. If they were able to do that, they would have had to done it, previously and not wait to the end of this time frame here. Shout out to those who are knowledgeable of the game and saying that Andy Dalton did have weapons. I think that A.J. Green, although he was injured, they had a lot of guys out there through the course of his career that can catch the ball. And that defense was nothing to sneeze at. And Mixon, boy can run. And he can run. Let's go.
If they're going to do that on a 5-year deal, you would think that they would have at least poked around the edges the past few days to get some sort of an idea as to whether or not a 5-year deal with a greater guarantee would fly. Because as it has stood for a long time, Dak is dug in at 4, the Cowboys are dug in at 5, and that's kind of where it's been. And here's the thing that everyone needs to remember about the posture that both sides currently occupy. Dak has $31.4 million in hand, fully guaranteed. And next year, if he's tagged again, he will make $37.68 million fully guaranteed. Now, he's got to avoid a catastrophic injury, and he's got to avoid a dramatic downturn in his performance this year. But he's been playing that card every year. He's been carrying that risk every year for a hell of a lot less than $31.4 million. Last year, he carried the injury risk for $2 million. So in his mind, he's got $69.08 million in the bank over the next 2 years, plus doomsday scenario for the Cowboys in 2022, where they either use the transition tag at $45 million plus, franchise tag at $54 million plus, or let him walk away. And here's the key question: what are they going to offer him to get him to give up the bird in the hand? And they've allowed that bird in the hand to get fat by waiting and waiting and waiting and not doing what they should have done months ago. And so if I'm Dak and if I'm advising anyone that's a friend, a relative, a client, whatever, I'm saying, hey, it better be a lot before you give up what you can do, because this is Kirk Cousins on steroids. Not to say Kirk Cousins takes steroids, but you take that out of context.
Hey, so he's talking about the overall deal. He's saying that, hey, the Kirk Cousins situation is one thing, but Dak's situation is another. Think about it. Kirk Cousins got all of that money, and I don't think that he ever took his team outside of when he went to Minnesota land to the playoffs. I think he did. Probably he did. I could be off a little bit on that, but I don't think that he did the amount of things that Dak Prescott was able to do. Don't give me the fact that we have Ezekiel Elliott. Oh my goodness! But it is what it is.
And Dak is in position to make $69 million over 2 years, and then walk away and go to the highest bidder in 2022, whoever it may be. And it's going to take a lot, I think, for him to give that up.
Mike, why are the Cowboys dug in on 5 years? Because if you look around the league, I think like 3 years ago there was 45 teams that handed out 5-year contracts, or 45 5-year contracts handed out, and then this year the number's like 8. Teams are not giving out 5-year deals anymore at the rate they used to. Why are the Cowboys dug in on 5?
Well, the teams benefit from having those years on the back end where there's no guarantee, there's no huge cap hit, and it basically is a team option. That's how most of these deals work. That's one of the problems with the Patrick Mahomes contract, this 12-year deal. You quickly get to a point where it's the team option 1 year after another. Are we going to keep the guy? And here's how it works. If the guy's playing at a very high level, yeah, hey, we're glad to pay him the amount that we're due to pay him. The moment he slips below that, they start squeezing him to take less, or they'll just cut him loose. Look what happened in the back end of the Dez Bryant deal. They gave Dez Bryant a long-term contract. It was a 5-year deal, if I recall correctly, on the deadline day for franchise tags several years ago. But what happened? When he got toward the out years, they looked at what he was due to make, and it's like he's no longer playing at this level. see you later. That's why teams like to have that. They want to control the rights as long as possible. They want to have that option 1 year at a time to decide, do we keep this guy? And that's why they're looking at 5. And also, here's the other thing, too. A 5-year deal for a quarterback, because usually what happens with a quarterback, once you know that he's got it, it doesn't go away unless there is some sort of catastrophic injury or an accumulation of injuries that ultimately erode his ability. Dak Prescott has made it clear over the past 4 years that he's got it. So he's going to keep playing at a high level. Well, if you sign him for 5 years, you throw a franchise tag onto the end of it, that's 6 years. You throw a second franchise tag onto the end of it, that's 7 years. You've got control of him for 7 years. So I think that's one of the reasons why they do it, too. You delay the moment where you have to come back to the table another year. I mean, look at what the Seahawks and Russell Wilson do. Every year it's a 4-year deal. Or not every year, but every time they do a new deal, he gets that 4-year deal. That's what you should want. And that's why this Mahomes thing has kind of turned everything upside down, at least temporarily. Quarterbacks should always look for the shortest possible commitment because you always want to get back to the table for your next deal after the cap goes up and the market goes up and the circumstances change, and they almost always change for the better for the player.
No doubt, man. So he's breaking down the conversation of the contract. Shout out to you, Keem. Yes, you are my brother from another mother, and you as well, Jonathan. Really appreciate you guys that's on the Facebook group, as well as those that's on my Twitch and Periscope as well. We live on all networks. And shout out to those that's on the YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this thing, man. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. My thing is, it's a situation whereas the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot, and now you got to pay the price. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we don't want the $31 million. We don't want it as the fans, as pure fans of the game, of the sport, of the Dallas Cowboys. We don't want to see somebody take up $31 million. And here's why. When I look at this contract situation, of course, he had a 4-year contract for $2.7 million. First year, he had a signing bonus of $383,000, and his average annual salary was $680,000. That is what Rico Gathers was making. His only guaranteed money was $383,000. So when we start talking about the collective money wise, the guy got paid $4 million. But that's a story of a different day, right? I understand people can look at it and say, well, you know, he was a 4th round draft pick. There was nobody saying that, hey, pay the man, like what Shay Sharp was saying. There was nobody saying, hey, pay the man, because he's doing this and he's doing that. So you got a 4-year discount off the books, straight off the game, straight off the jump. For him to ultimately see a Jared Goff, a Carson Wentz, not only get their bag the first time it came around, but they got their bag the second time around before him. Like he was saying with the $66 million. I think on the last episode we was listening in to Shay Sharp and Skip Bayless, when Goff got that $66 million signing bonus. I do know that a lot of people are going to look at it and say to themselves, well, that's them. That's him. Oh, he got that because he was drafted in the first. People fail to realize, and those who, and I don't want these people to be watching and listening in to me, be hypocrites. Because I know for sure if you work at Walmart, if you're working at Payless, if you're working at Dollar General, if you're flipping burgers for Burger King, and if you're working at McDonald's, whatever it may be, if you're rotating tires for crying out loud, or even if you're cutting hair or grass, you can say to yourself, yeah, I'm making probably at the high end $16 an hour. At the high end, you're making $16 to $17 an hour. Let's say you're making that. And then all of a sudden, somebody just come walking right into the same facility, the same place where you work at, does less, don't even clock in most of the time, working not 8 hours, you working 8 to 9 to 10 hours, 12 hours at most for overtime, and this person only worked 4 to 5 hours, and they getting paid $26 an hour. Wouldn't you get mad? You'll still do your job because you say, hey, that had nothing to do with me because I want to put food on the table for my family. But some part of you are going to be looking at it, I'm just as good as this person. I'm just as good, or I'm just of a different maker than that person. Why do I have to get paid $16 an hour and somebody else getting paid $26, $27? Oh, and then when the raises come around, they come to you and say, hey, we know that you got paid $16 an hour. Now, based upon your stats, the way you flip burgers and the way you put the lettuce on the patty, what have you, you're supposed to get at least $30. You're supposed to get $30 an hour. But what we going to do is, because we done already signed these other people so that you can keep your job, we can only offer you 28. But you say, hey, wait a minute, Tyrone and them just got 35. Hey, come on, you're not a team player. Don't you know by working for this particular organization, you can just stand outside and somebody can take a picture of you and what you're doing on your YouTube job and what you're doing on your side gig over there, you making big money because you're associated and affiliated with us. Shouldn't you be happy about the $30 that we offer you, $28 that we offer you? That is what Dak Prescott is going through right now. There's not, look, let me go to my Instagram right quick. Now pull this up right here. Cowboys have until 4 p.m. or 3. They got another hour, like less than 45 minutes from here, to work out a long-term contract. Otherwise, he'll play under the franchise tag. Most wins by a starting quarterback since 2016. Tom Brady 47-13. Russell Wilson 40-23. And 1, he had a tie. And Dak Prescott 40-24. But what they don't say in this particular excerpt that I'm reading, you got to probably squint your eyes, is that those other 2 quarterbacks got a coach that made it to the Super Bowl and won at least one, right? Let me know if I'm lying. Let me know if Jason Garrett ever coached a team to the Super Bowl. Let me know if Jason Garrett, if you were a person that followed football and you had a choice between life and death to pick a coach, and you had Bill Belichick or Jason Garrett, who you going to pick? If you had the coach, what's his name over there, Pete Carroll or Jason Garrett, who would you pick out of that lineup to say, okay, in order for me to live, I'm going to go with this particular coach? I guarantee you a third or more than a third of you guys are going to say, give me Pete Carroll, even though he's kind of wonky a little bit. Give me Pete. Because at least I can look at his resume and say, okay, he did some good things with the Patriots. He didn't make it all the way when he was coaching for the Patriots, but he did some good things. So he revamped himself, went to college land, and he won it there, came back to Seattle land, and he won it there. That guy got multiple rings as it relates to coaching. Oh, Bill Belichick. At least if I know if my life is on the line, at least I know this coach is going to get some taping, record it, you know. He's going to do some nefarious things, but damn it, we're going to come out with a win. He just like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, basically. This guy is going to at least save my life. But Coach Redball here, it could be 4th and 1. You could be averaging 5.9 yards a carry running the ball, and it's 4th and 1, 4th and an inch, and he's calling out the punt team. Literally. Let me know if I'm lying. It could be a situation where we throwing the ball all over the field, everybody catching it, regardless of what type of ball you're throwing it. And then all of a sudden he says to himself, oh, let's do it this way. Let's run it into the teeth of the defense. That's the Minnesota Vikings game, by the way, right? Boy, oh boy. I think that Dak Prescott 40-24 is more valuable than Tom Brady's 47-13 and Russell Wilson's 40-23. Let me know if I'm lying. Because we know what they had to go through to get their wins. It wasn't as rough and as difficult as what Dak Prescott had to go through. Let me know if I'm lying. boy,
Mike
I ain't gonna like me here today.
Man, Dak deadline day at 3 p.m. Mike, everyone's talking about 4 versus 5, but I want to know after the Mahomes deal, is the average money per year now going to become an issue? We keep talking about 33 to 35 million. Do you think that the Mahomes
Shout out
deal
to you,
changed that for Dak?
I don't think it did because Mahomes got to $45 million, but he had to sign a 12-year contract to get to $45 million in new money. I mean, I joked last.
Let me pause it right quick because I gotta point out somebody right quick. Is it Fonzie? Fonzie? He said, "Law, you're lying, man." So Fonzie here, he's the only guy or lady or gal, that would really pick Jason Garrett over Bill Belichick. He's the only guy. You can't be. Fonzie is the only person probably on planet Earth. Matter of fact, I'll stretch it out beyond planet Earth. He's the only person in this universe or multiverse, if you're one of those people. He's the only person on this multi-universe that would pick Jason Garrett over Bill Belichick. Let that sink in. Let me know his football intellect. Boy, it's crazy.
Last week when everyone was talking about how he's a $500 million man, it's like, yeah, I'd like to announce I have a $500 million contract with NBC. I just have to live another 1,000 years to get it all. I mean, if you're willing to commit long enough into the future, you can get whatever number you want. So I think the $45 million, and because I don't think either side can have it both ways here. And it's not like Dak can say all of a sudden he's shooting for $45 million on a 4-year deal. No, you got to commit for 10 years to get to $45 million, and he doesn't want to do that. So I still think that 35 to 40 range makes sense for Dak, complicated by the fact that the salary cap very well could go down next year based upon the pandemic, although I doubt that'll happen. I think they'll smooth this year's losses out over the balance of the current CBA. But again, it all gets back to what he has in hand. 31-4, 37-6-8. And then that 2022 scenario where who knows what the Cowboys will do, and there's a chance he walks away like Kirk Cousins. And look at what Cousins got on the open market. And, well, I mean, would you rather have Cousins or Prescott right now?
Prescott.
Sheesh.
Okay, so, and Cousins set a new high watermark for all quarterbacks 2 years ago simply because he was available. You don't have healthy franchise quarterbacks on the right side of 30 who just show up on the market. And so when that happens, there's going to be somebody that gets it in their head that this guy is going to be the answer to all of our problems, and they're going to write a gigantic check and make a significant commitment, and that may be what Dak's looking at in a couple of years if the Cowboys don't get this taken care of. And again, I've harped on this time and again, what they should have done, the moment the final regular season game of Dak's third year ended, that would have been after the 2018 regular season as they're getting ready to play the Seahawks. That's when the window opens on doing a second contract. That's when you make him an offer he can't refuse.
He's echoing the same thing that I've been saying on this channel for over a year. Echoing. Literally, like he listened to Law Nation channel and said, you know what, I'm going to repeat tense, por favor. I'm going to say exactly what Law just said. I'm not saying that he listened to this channel, but you guys get what I'm saying. Boy. But I don't know anything, though, right?
Because I think the offer he can't refuse then is a hell of a lot less than the offer he can't refuse now.
Yes, absolutely. Mike, is there any chance that this heads to a divorce? Is there any chance that this becomes a Cousins 2.0 situation? Maybe the Cowboys aren't totally sold that he's elite, that he's great, and that another team would definitely sign up for paying him $38 to $40 million after what Deshaun Watson gets. Could this end up in divorce?
Well, this theory has been percolating, and typically it comes from rival agents who are critical of what Dak's agents are doing. And this is very common. I've been hearing this stuff for 20 years. There's always a naysayer out there because the business of representing players is so competitive. And the theory that's making the rounds is don't bank on the Cowboys using the franchise tag next year on Dak Prescott. No one's going to pay him $37.68 million next year. And my response to that's very simple. Number one, the Cowboys are the ones that chose to use the highest available franchise tag for Dak Prescott at $31.4 million, the exclusive version that sealed off any opportunity for any team to come in and sign him to an offer sheet that they don't match, and the Cowboys get 2 first-round picks as compensation. They could have saved $4 or $5 million, which when you start extrapolating out franchise tags, that money compounds dramatically because what you get this year is the basis for what you get next year. So they could have gone with the lower level. They went with the Cadillac version of the franchise tag, which sends the message, we're not going to let you walk away next year either, which I think it's a given at this point. Unless they're willing to come out and say, we regret ever using the exclusive version of the franchise tag in the first place, I think it's reasonable to say next year they're going to tag him again and give him a 20% raise. And if they don't, think about this. Who's their quarterback going to be? And if they draft somebody, let's say, all signs are pointing to no college football season right now.
Ooh, Mike Florio is giving you guys some good stuff. Oh, my goodness. Did he just drop some good nuggets there, Cowboy Nation? Didn't he just do that? He said basically that the Cowboys didn't have to give Dak Prescott the Cadillac version, the Mercedes-Benz version, basically, of the franchise tag. Look, I cannot make this stuff up. This is shooting yourself in the foot and looking for the police to come help you. And say, I don't know who the gunman is, but I done heard gunfire, and somebody shot my toes off, man. And then when they do all of the ballistic report, you see that you shot yourself in the foot. They didn't have to do this. We didn't have to be split apart, going back and forth as a franchise, as an organization. There's no other organization that do this type of stupidity. This is foolish. This is unwise. This is everything the Cowboys is doing, and other teams are laughing, flat out laughing. If they don't get a deal in within 30 minutes from here, we will be the laughing stock of the NFL. Laughing. We had an opportunity to pay D-Law $14 million. We franchised him. Prove it to me. Now it's $21 million. Had the opportunity as soon as we made the trade for Amari Cooper to give him the Odell Beckham type of deal. We said, no, let's play it out. And now he's getting paid over so many millions of dollars, right? That's above Odell Beckham's deal, right? Because that was the market rate. But we let him play it out. I tell you the truth, man. I can't make this stuff up, man. I cannot make this stuff up. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Now, I know that some of the conferences and the commissioners are trying their best to try to cobble something together, but the way the pandemic is going, I right now at the under on college football season. So do you want to draft a guy who hasn't played any football in 20 months and say, oh, you're our guy post Dak, have at it? So I think that there are many reasons to look at this and say that $69 million is in hand over 2 years, and they will pay him $37.68 next year unless he has some sort of catastrophic injury. And as it relates to quarterbacks, there really aren't that many truly catastrophic injuries that happen.
Mike, what's going on with Randy Gregory? Why are the Cowboys potentially not optimistic about him getting reinstated?
All right, so before he goes into the Randy Gregory piece, I have to say this, Cowboy Nation. He talked a little bit about the rookie quarterbacks that's coming in next year. It's a fickle process because we don't know whether or not, due to this virus that's going around, we don't know whether or not there will be a season. Let me repeat. We don't know whether or not there will be a season. In case in point, if we have those reservations as relates to NFL, we can only imagine what the college sports is talking about. We don't know a year off from the college or the collegiate level and then going into the NFL level. That will be cause to pause. So that will take longer for us to figure out what we got in store with said, quarterback that we draft. It's a hard situation for Cowboy Nation. It is. Just to keep it real with you all, it's a hard situation to dissect and to go over and to listen to. Now, I think he's going to go into details of the Randy Gregory. I spoke a long time about this Randy Gregory situation. It's a difficult one to go through, but let me listen to what he had to say because I haven't heard this part of the interview. So let's listen to what he had to say.
I mean, there have been mixed reports on that, and the bottom line is no one knows what the standards are when it applies to reinstatement for players who have been suspended indefinitely under the substance abuse policy. And I feel bad for guys like Randy Gregory and Josh Gordon. They got caught in this weird donut hole when they negotiated the new substance abuse policy, because for players who aren't suspended, there's a very different set of rules than for the players who already were suspended, and they're still subject to the same reinstatement process where the commissioner has full discretion. There's not even any deadline as to when the commissioner has to make a decision. Now, look, I don't know why there would be any reason for pessimism, but the balance here is, and I think what we don't know, how willing is the league at this point to just give everyone a clean slate, no matter how many positives you may have had while you were suspended, how many issues you may have had while you were suspended. Are they looking to give guys a clean slate like they did with Alden Smith, or are they looking to still keep guys out based upon whatever they are or aren't doing while they're on suspension? And I hope they just give everyone a clean slate. I hope it's like Amnesty Day at the library, where they let everybody come in under this new policy and do it again, because I still continue to believe very strongly that employers of any kind, unless you're in some sort of a safety-sensitive job where, if you've got a certain amount of THC in your system, you're going to wreck a bus or something and get someone injured, I don't think employers should care about whether or not guys are using marijuana or other street drugs that aren't performance-enhancing in their own time, especially when you consider the number of months that guys aren't at work when they play professional football. And I feel like it's moving in that direction. But, I mean, look, until they rule on Randy Gregory, I think there's reason to be guarded about what the commissioner really is going to do, and I think that's where a lot of this is coming from.
Good stuff, man, from Mike Florio. Y'all check out his Twitter page and check out his content if you're not have already. Check it out. Good information there. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I do listen to what he have to say and what he got going on. So my thing is with that was the end of that interview, by the way. And shout out to 105.3 The Fan. Check out their podcast on 105.3thefan.com, as well as listen to them on radio.com at 105.3 The Fan. And check out those guys. I think it's Sean and RJ and Choppy. So with that being said, Cowboy Nation, when we think about the Randy Gregory piece, I just think that that's like the last bullet in the chamber for what's this guy? Roger Goodell. That's the last bullet in the chamber for him to use against good old Jerry Wayne. And I think that he is holding Jerry feet to the fire, and that's just what it is. Shout out to everybody, man. Thank those who are here. Akeem, Tony, really appreciate you guys over there on the Facebook. Michael, thank you for being part of this thing. Leo, Ethan, Karen, Polly, Lee, really appreciate you. Cowboy Shift, thank you for tuning in. Before we wrap up everything, let me know if you guys would like to call in to give you guys a chance and opportunity to speak your mind. I think I got a few seconds here. I can open up the phone line. Let me know if that's something that you guys would like to do. And later on tonight, it will be the late night hype to go over the contract talk, the future plans of the Dallas Cowboys and beyond. It will be me, Big Game James, Skywalker still with the new field, man. I can't say this enough, but Big Game James and Skywalker, man, they bring in a lot to the Cowboys community, and I really appreciate them. 88, what's good? Bye, Dak. That's what he's saying. Swayze, I told y'all, Dak deal won't get done. Let's start looking at QBs in the second round next year. Why look for
Told
QBs in
y'all
the
the
second?
Doc deal won't get done. Let's start looking at QBs in the second round for next year.
Okay. But why not look for the first? Let's tank it on out, right? Let's tank this thing. Leo says one love. Georgia says thank you, Law. Really appreciate you guys, man. Taking time out of your beautiful day to spend time with me, a diehard Cowboys fan. And I want people to understand that this is not just solely a Dak Prescott fan. I'm not the fan of individual players. I'm a fan of the actual team. Matter of fact, I feel that I hold a lot of reverence of saying that I'm a fan of the Cowboys before Jerry
Can
Jones.
you imagine the money they're gonna have to pay Doc when he wins the Super Bowl?
Oh, wow.
Fearful face money bag.
Oh my God, yeah. Ooh, that would be crazy, man. If that happened, man, Leron Jr., boy, don't you know, boy, what type of tears I would cry, real tears. Now, we won't be going out there eating horse feces. That's what the Eagles did because they didn't won a Super Bowl in 60 years, right? That was their first time ever, right? But we will be crunk. We will be partying. I just had to throw some shots at the Eagles, man. Y'all know how they go, man. That rivalry will never end. All right, so for those, I will have the line open. It will be this personal number. You guys can feel free to text me there as well. And here we go. As soon as he get his mind right, 682-214-4087 is the dial. Big Pain, what's good with you though? Quincy Carter. Quincy Carter went 10-6 one year, right? He made it to the playoff one year, right? That lets you know with the power of coaching, you can get some things done. You can make, you can turn, stuff into, not water into wine, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to go turn water to wine, but you know what a liquor store is, right? Basically, that's what Parcell was able to do. Like, hey, I'm going to go to this liquor store. I'm going to get you guys all drunk off of this. I can't make you wine, though. I can't turn water into that. 682-214-4087 is the lucky number. Call in. Speak your mind. That's the phone line for your mind. When you call that number, I don't have enough time to hold your hand all day, but we can talk to it. 757. What's good?
What's good, Law?
Talk to me, man.
Nothing much. This Chris Westry, man.
Chris, are you the defensive back for the Dallas Cowboys, or that's your cousin?
Nah, that's just the cousin. I get asked that all the time.
Yeah, yes, indeed,
all
man.
The time.
I know, right? And I get asked, "Are you James Harden?" all the time. I get it all the time at the airport, everywhere I go. But it is what it is. But talk to me, man.
It's all good. Yeah, man. Let's see. Main thing I want to talk about is narrative busters, and that's what I give you a lot of credit for, because a lot of y'all bloggers that I listen to, like y'all busting narratives that these TV shows don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? And it irritates me because I just sit and watch and I'll be like, man, like y'all giving half-hard stories, like y'all not telling the whole truth. Like, for example, and I was going to comment in the box and tell you, like, I hope you had that clip. Like, how Clarence Hill and James Slater, they got on the show and shut all that nonsense down that Skip was talking about. Like, Skip was like, oh, he won 43 million. They're like, nah, Skip. They offered him 35 million. Like, they haven't went over it. He's not even asked for it. They're like, he ain't asked for it, Skip. It's like, he only won, 35. And like I tell people, like all these groups I've been, I said, the issue ain't so much the annual per year. My thing is the guaranteed money. That's what he wants.
There you go. You saw what Fisher came out with 106. Yet to the common man, that is a good number, right? But there's some type of way where you got to look at it and say, man, come on. Don't I deserve at least 115? Don't I deserve at least an extra, 9 on that,
Exactly. Nah, and he do because he's the next one up. And that's the thing. And that's the thing that irritates me the most is that people don't seem to understand, because it's not a complicated issue. And I'm not, like trying to talk about. It's just like, look, it's always about who's next. It's never about if you top 5, top 10, top whatever. It's always about who's next. It's a whole bunch of QBs that's been the highest paid that ain't nowhere been near the upper echelon in top QBs, but they still been that. For example, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins since 2016 is the highest paid player. He wanted two in the playoffs just like that. So is it why? I mean, you don't hear people say, "Oh, well, why is Kurt the highest paid player? He's not top 5. He's not top 10." But when it comes to Dak to get his money, we can't pay him because he's not top 5, top 10. Like, that's hypocritical.
People do, like I said, people do what they want to do, Chris. And then you think about it. When old boy got his bag, when old boy got his paper, people was like congratulating him. Like, I'm talking about the Carr brother.
Exactly.
That $25 million contract, people were sitting there saying like, "Oh, Carr, he deserved every penny of it, man. He's on the rise, man. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. His stats and his statistics and the way he throws the ball is going to be Aaron Rodgers-esque, you know." And all of a sudden, that opened up the door for the other people, and people failed to realize, just like Mike Florio said and the other guy said on these shows, is that it's not, I think it was Poland. He said that it's not about the collective talent. It's about when you enter in the market. And I don't know why people don't get that. I don't know why.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
what else you got for the show, though, Chris? What else you got, man?
That's about it, man. I just, like I said, shout out to y'all, y'all bloggers who are keeping it real and telling the whole story and not slanted views, unlike these TV shows that tell one side of everything, that have people who, like y'all bloggers, who comment and they just regurgitate what they see off of that instead of telling the whole view of things.
Yeah,
but
partial truth. Partial truth equals whole lies, they say, But
exactly.
I really appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
No problem.
Good old Chris, man. 682-214 is the number. Give me a call, 4087. And with one of my mods, man, if you guys can just post that periodically throughout the feed, man, I really appreciate it. 908. Come on with it, 908.
Yes, sir. Big Pain back again 2 days in a row, man.
2 days in a row, man. Talk to me, man.
It's a good day in Eagles Nation right now. It's a good day.
Yeah, y'all don't have to worry about the drama for your mama, man. Y'all don't have to worry about it. Y'all look at it like this, man. We'll go ahead and pay Carson. We'll go ahead and pay such and such. We'll get rid of players that we don't think that they're performing. I didn't see that the other guy, was it Peters? Y'all made an offensive lineman. Y'all moved him to the inside instead of a tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
moving to the right guard.
Don't you know, for the Cowboys, and I hate giving you guys this right quick, and I hate saying this, man, especially to the Eagles, but don't you know that if we were to move La'el Collins from the tackle position to the guard, there would have been 30 episodes on ESPN. 32 of them on NFL Network, and all of the insiders, and shout out to them. I love our insiders. I love Mike Fisher, Clarence Hill, Jane Slater. I love her. You know what I'm saying? She's just like she is on TV. What you see on TV is what you see in real life. She's down to earth, sweet to talk to, a whole conversation so long, you'd be like, look, let me just go get some water right quick. I'll talk to you later, Jane. But they would have had all of those episodes, but see, y'all just moved just like that. Just like that. Move Peters inside. Not 4,000 people needed to know. But go ahead, Big Pay. Go ahead, talk to me.
In the one thing I wanted to say, because it's about 20 minutes left, or 16. Well, I'm trying to see, it's 3:44 on the East Coast, so Jerry Jones, I wouldn't be surprised if he come out of nowhere with a deal, but I don't think it's gonna happen realistically. But on a real note, if that don't get paid, it's not because he's a bad player. It's because of the optics. It's just how they view. It's how Jerry Jones viewed Dak Prescott. There's not nothing wrong with him, the player, because we've seen lesser players or players on his level get paid before. It's how he views them. Same thing that goes for Kirk Cousins. He's not a bad quarterback. It wouldn't be the worst if he's your starting quarterback, but it's how they view him. And at the end of the day, that's not a problem with Dak, and it may not even be a problem for Jerry Jones. It's just how he viewed Dak Prescott. it's nothing that anybody can do because that's how he view him. Because I never understood the Dak Prescott contract until I'm like, he getting offered 33, 34, and $100 million guaranteed, but then I recognized that it was for 5 years instead of 4. So then I was like, that's where he's upset at. I didn't recognize the whole time. Like, Dak just want more than whoever, he want more than wins, but he would have took that deal. But it's instead of for 4, it's for 5. So they view him as a person that shouldn't get paid as much as those guys, and that's why I always say that Carson Wentz, the Eagles, they view him differently because if you look at it, they pay him off an ACL and a fractured back, and his backup quarterback won the Super Bowl, and they paid him, and then they drafted a second-round quarterback and still said, "Oh, nah, this still our guy. We just gonna use this other dude as a package quarterback, but this still our guy. This actually just to keep him upright. He not gonna do no more QB sneaks type of plays. So it's off how they view Dak. There's nothing really nobody could do about it.
Nothing we can do about it, and the thing is, you covet things that you love, and it's just how it goes. It's like, you're talking to this girl, she's all right, you know what I'm saying? And then you see another one there, that's everything to you. You're going to treat the girl that's all right like she's all right, and that's why I hope you get what I'm saying, she all right, but she ain't no such and such, so I ain't going to go the extra yard. So that's what I'm thinking that the Cowboys are looking at Dak Prescott, even though he showed the flashes, and they like, he's all right, because when I made the analogy, is just like this. You don't go buy a new car and you park it outside when you got a garage. Basically, they let that car just sit outside. People put the fingerprints all over it. You go out there and you make this thing happen, and you leave no doubt, no room for any doubt, and you go ahead and pay the man. But I digress, man. What else you got for the show, Big Pain?
Really just because I watch all the teams in the division, and I like when I look at the Patriots and I look at the Cowboys, you two teams are actually similar in the aspect of they're preparing for the life after that quarterback, and you can tell because as they drafted a bunch of defense this year, but they also turned to a defensive team. And they took away a lot of weapons from Tom Brady. They didn't want Tom Brady no more. And if the Patriots could get rid of Tom Brady and not say we don't want him no more, that means any quarterback in the NFL could get the team could wash their hands with him. That's all I was basically trying to the point I'm trying to get across. And Tom Brady got a job instantly with the Buccaneers. So if he leave them, ain't no telling Dak Prescott can have a solid career with the Colts. You know what I'm saying? I just want to. And they picked up a backup quarterback in Andy Dalton. They might, who knows what they're doing, but they might be preparing for life after that. For all anybody knows. Yeah,
I mean, you're right. You're right, man. Good call, man. Really appreciate you, fam.
All right.
Yeah. They say a prophet is not honorable in his own home. So he's right, even in the words that we listen to. 267, man, you live on the nation, man. Talk to me.
What's up, man? It's Jimmy. I had called you not long ago, 3 weeks ago or something like that, from Philly.
Jimmy Jim. What's good, man?
Chilling. You really think that Jerry Jones believes in Dak Prescott after he signed what was his name, D-Law and Jalen Smith? He signed all them guys first when really he should have signed his so-called leader first instead of signing them guys first. He went ahead and took care of Jalen Smith, D-Law, and Zeke first instead of signing his leader first. That tells me that he don't believe in him. You know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to at least take care of your leader first. You know what I'm saying? Before you start signing contracts to guys that's not really the captain on the team or nothing like that. So
Jimmy, you drive a car or a truck?
I drive a car.
Yeah, drive a car, right? And
right.
Is it a fairly new car, right, or is it old?
It's a 2018 Impala.
Oh my goodness, you rolling good over there. So if your check engine light cut on, right, or it says service maintenance needed to happen, right, within so many months. You don't go out and buy rims. You don't go out and buy probably headlights and things like that, right? New tires, new set of tires. You're going to go and start setting aside money to get your maintenance light fixed or getting your engine fixed or what they're saying that needed to happen. When you go to the auto mechanic and they say, okay, it seems as if though you need to get this operation done in order for you to continue to drive your car. You don't go buy no rims. You don't go buy other things, right? What the Cowboys did is they bought all of those things and just said, that's check engine light. I'm not even going to worry about it. That's just the quarterback. What we can do is wait till when it blows all the way out, when the motor lock up, then we can go find another motor. We're not gonna put new oil in it. We ain't not gonna change the oil. We're gonna continue to put gas in the car. We're gonna continue to change the tires. We're gonna continue to put the new brake pads on it, and we're gonna keep the old oil in there. That's what the Cowboys did. That's exactly what they did with Dak Prescott. They did not protect their necessary investment. And the reality of it is 2015 occurred. Do you know what the Cowboys did in 2015?
What they do?
They only won 4 games. Without, of course, Tony Romo, of course. They won only 4 games. They had it was the number 3 or the number 4 rushing attack in the NFL. Had the same pretty much offensive line. They had Dez, who was on the field, off the field, or what have you, because of his injury. But ultimately, they only won 4 games. 2016 occurred. Pretty much the only 2 things that changed was Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott.
What I'm trying to say is, right?
Talk to me.
Let's say, right? All right, this whole Corona COVID-19 situation.
Right.
You know how if you get a car now, you save money, right?
True.
Now, if you don't get a car now, and if you get the car within the next year, now you don't save money. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well get the car now and save money instead of waiting next year. And then, you know what I'm saying? Now you got to pay more. That's the same thing was going on with Jerry Jones. Like, I don't think he know what the 2 + 2 is. Like, he was supposed to sign him last season. He was supposed to get extended. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, don't y'all say, oh, well, look at Dak's stats and y'all should have looked at that last year and signed the guy, but now y'all got to sign him to more money. And, like, you understand what I'm saying now?
Right.
Like, after y'all bought all those rims and all of that for nothing because y'all should have saved money last year. Like, why is y'all buying rims?
That's the flavor and the flow of Jerry Wayne, because rims is what catches your attention, right? When you see that car, you see like, man, that's nice, man. Got some rims on that Impala, man. Oh my goodness! Man,
like that's why the dealer said get the car now, because if you don't get it now, you're gonna pay more. Jerry Jones don't understand that.
It is all shine and glitter, and he should have taken care of his necessary investment, because if anybody that I was going to pay for this particular team, I would have looked at 2015 and I would have said, what changed? What was the difference between 2015 and 2016? Oh, it was Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. Those were the catalysts for this team to never see a losing season since then. They haven't had a losing season, regardless of how we look at it. It's not as pretty as we want last year as far as the Dallas Cowboys going 8-8, but we can still say to ourselves, we were not the 2015 team, because everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, Tupac, and Biggie was saying that the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl in 2015, week 1.
I mean, don't they say that every year?
You're right. But they were really saying it because they were saying, hey, in 2014, we was cheated, Dez catch, no catch, But now we're going to reassure the defense. We're going to bring back Tony Romo. We got rid of DeMarco Fumble Murray, because that's what I was hearing. They got rid of DeMarco Fumble Murray. They went and got somebody else who said that he would not leave meat on the bone. And they got Run DMC. And they said, hey, the Cowboys are finna run through this thing and win the Super Bowl. And what happened? They only won 4 games.
Law, would you say in 2016, was it run, Zeke, run? Or was it pass, Dak, pass?
It was still a philosophy of running the ball. It was run, Zeke,
Okay.
run in 2016. That was
Yeah,
Ezekiel.
because I heard you say something about the Eagles. You said it was run, Eagles run in 2017.
In 2017,
So,
you
do
were
you
the third
still
overall
believe in
in rushing
that?
attack. I think here's the thing. There's a stat out there, and I don't have it right at my fingertip, but Carson Wentz, we was talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty much when Ezekiel Elliott get 100 yards of rushing or more, the Dallas Cowboys record is like 21 and like 4 or something like that. 20. It's a good number when he gets over 100 yards. Guess who else is like that? Carson Wentz. Believe it or not, or the Eagles. Believe it or not, when they get they're like 28-5 or 28-6, something like that. When the running back get over 100 yards. So
How about in 2017 though? Was it run, Eagles run?
it was run, Eagles run. Third overall in rushing.
I don't know, because if it was run, Eagles run, then how come Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP in 2017? You know what I'm saying? Because if it was run, Eagles run, you can't have a quarterback that's going to be MVP, right?
Put it like this: Why did Dak Prescott get the Rookie of the Year, and not Ezekiel?
Well, because he's a quarterback. You know, they value that position.
See, you painted yourself right in the corner. That's the same situation. Now, with the Eagles, they had multiple sets of running back. They had LeGarrette Blount. Let me know if I'm lying, right? They had the other guy, name is at the tip of my tongue. He was running the ball good, too. It was like a 3 combination. I had 3-headed monsters over there, man. And y'all was running that rock good. Run, play action, set up the pass. Hey, put it like this. The first 3 Super Bowls that the not Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Patriots won, it wasn't for the fact of Tom Brady's arm. They had some running attack, and they played good defense. Run the rock, play good defense, and have a quarterback that can manage the thing. You can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but see, the thing with the Patriots, you know what I'm saying? They got a quarterback. They had a good head coach. They had a good offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a whole bunch of things. Like, that's what the Eagles had in 2017. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little bit of everything.
Well, you got to have a little bit of everything, but you got to be solid, too. Let me raise you on one. Think about this. The Super Bowl that the Big Ben Roethlisberger won, was he throwing the rock everywhere? Or was it Big Jerome Bettis and Fast Willie Parker? You know, you remember the Super Bowl that Big Ben won?
This was, 2009?
Oh, man, this shit is way many moons ago. You run that rock.
2005. You're right, 2005.
Yeah. Remember Fast Willie Parker, man? That boy fast, man, but he was boxy, but he'll run. The same thing with the I don't want to say the earlier years, because Trent Difford's Ravens Super Bowl, man, people will always talk about Ray Lewis, but Jamal Lewis on the other side and Priest Holmes, shoot, those boys was running the rock. But here's the thing. People will forget about the running back. See, people who don't have that recall, they'll forget about Jamal Lewis. They'll forget about Priest Holmes, but they will only remember, hey, Trent Difford. They will probably remember, Ray Lewis, of course. But Ed Reed wasn't even on that first team, you see. So, but people will remember the quarterback. So that's why the quarterback gets all of the hype and all of the love. Which rightfully so. The quarterback is like the driving force of most of these teams.
Okay.
So, just like Russell Wilson. But go ahead. Go talk to me.
Like, because you didn't say yes or no. Was it Eagles run in 2017?
Run, Eagles run. Let me know if the Eagles didn't finish top 5 in running.
No, they did, but they also finished.
Which one was higher? Their rushing attack or their passing attack?
Well, you know, their passing attack was pretty good too. You know, Carson Wentz threw a lot of touchdowns. He was leading. You know, like he had the most touchdowns since he got hurt, and then he missed those 3 games, and I think honestly he still should have won the MVP. They cheated him and gave it to Tom Brady because Tom Brady played the last 3 games or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But he had the most touchdowns. You know what I'm saying, until he got hurt and all of that. So I don't know how Eagles run. He threw a lot of touchdowns. He had good completion percentage. Like, I don't know how it was Eagles run.
Yeah, I feel what you said, Jimmy, man. Matter of fact, I got to roll, man, but I really appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you.
All right, just real quick. Also, Jerry Jones, I think he's got a little plan up his sleeve. You know what I'm saying? I think he's just gonna give Dak Prescott this little what you call this? This that 1 year contract, a franchise a franchise tag. He gonna give him that, right? He's trying to see if he could play right with McCarthy this time instead of Garrett. So I think if Dak fails and he don't do good, I think he's out of there next year, and they might just draft a QB, which is, I think that might be the right way to go. Believe it or not, it might be the right way to go. Y'all could end up, I'm not saying y'all could end up getting like a better quarterback. Y'all could, but I'm saying y'all could save money in that way, and y'all might end up getting a better quarterback than that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know.
Well,
I think that's the best.
Only time will tell, though, man. But I really appreciate you, Jim.
All right.
All right, salute, bro.
All right, thanks.
Peace, man. Good call from back-to-back Eagle fans. But, all right, let me put it on pause right quick. And we're going to look at Tom Downey says the Dallas Cowboys 100% botched the Dak Prescott contract process. Whether you're on team pay Dak or team not to pay Dak, that should be obvious. Either way, the Cowboys have done is cost themselves a lot of money in cap space. Horrible job by the front office, and that's what he is saying right here. And Tom is one of those guys, man, that pretty much he does the Cowboys chat, and he always have some good information. Y'all check him out as well. But I agree with him. You can't put toothpaste back in the tube, and you can't allow $31 million to be hit against the cap, because my whole philosophy is this right here. If you do not believe in Dak Prescott and you usher in and you bring in an Andy Dalton, just let that be. Fall on your face, get your 2 first-round draft picks, and utilize that to propel your team to put you in better situations to win the Super Bowl. But what you did here is you painted yourself in a corner for $31 million and say to yourself, okay, get it done with what we got left, $7 million. I just feel, and on top of that, the way people look at this, the optics and the angle of it, is very bad in my opinion. And it does not look like it's going to be a good relationship long term for the quarterback to the Dallas Cowboys. The most revered, the most marketable team of all time, you sully and denigrate your quarterback like this. So now this will be pretty much the test. From this point on, people are going to say, okay, well, it could be 20 years from now. Well, you remember how they did Dak Prescott. And what I want people to understand and to know, that the reason why free agent people don't come to the Dallas Cowboys, because they can see this. Let me know if I'm wrong. They can see the way that they handle their own businesses within the confines of the Cowboys. They can look at it and say, man, I saw how y'all treated Dak. No, man, I'm going to stay good where I'm at. They got McCoy and Poe off of a string of a luck. But these other free agent people out here, they're going to be looking at it like, I don't know, fam. This is something that we saw how y'all treated y'all franchise quarterback. I got to start asking for my money up front now. I got to get my paper up front now. That is the reality of it. $31 million against the cap. No wiggle room. Oh, in case in point, if winning the Super Bowl is everything, right? If winning the Super Bowl is everything, let me tell you something, Cowboy Nation. Newsflash. We sat on $30 million last year. Let me repeat. We sat on $30 million last year. Let me see what we did with that money when it was time to wheel and deal to get that one other player. We didn't do it. Oh, we had $22 million in reserve last year. Oh, we had $8 million if you cut Tyrone Crawford, who didn't play it down for us that much last year. You could have cut him, and you would have had $30 million to utilize those funds and resources to do other things. But what we do at Cowboys Land, we fall in love with a player, and we do not will and deal. We covet that player. We hold them and say, we ain't going to let you go until it's too late, and get nothing in return. So for everybody out there say, hey, Just let Dak Prescott walk. That's what they be saying. They be all in my comment feed. Let him walk. I'm like, what do you get out of letting him walk? Nothing in return. You're not going to try to wheel and deal that thing to get at least. And don't tell me you can't get 2 first-round draft picks from him. I've seen it was Miami Land got 2 first-round draft picks for a Laramie Tunsil. You know, boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, so let's see what we have over here. Give me a few seconds. How many people we got live over here? Okay, let me see. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Bear with me. There we go. Let him walk. Y'all like that drop? Let him walk. Let's see. Give me a few seconds. Oh, it's almost there. Almost there. There we go. There we go.
Spectrum Mobile is now the...
Yeah. Let me see if I can listen to it live.
At Kettle Brand, we're on a voyage to the flavor frontier.
As soon as they get off a commercial break, we'll see what they saying live on the Nation. But on that's 105.3 The Fan. But I just want people to understand those small things. It's time for Dak to go. This is from Georgia. Well, it is what it is. Can you trade a player on a franchise tag? I don't know. I don't know if you can trade a player on a franchise tag. Law, you shouldn't want to trade a quarterback you can get 2 first for. That's what I'm saying, Voch Lombardi. But what I'm saying is that you shouldn't franchise your quarterback as well. I think that if the Cowboys really wanted to win and get this thing going, then they should have signed the brother a long time ago. But they allowed this to come all the way up to this point. And my thing is, if they don't believe in him, then why hold him to this type of situation? Get what you can and then bounce. But what we've seen is, and there's historical data showing exactly what they're doing. Let me know what we got from Dez Bryant, Cowboy Nation. When we decided to let Dez Bryant just walk and go, what did we get from Dez Bryant? Oh, it's nothing. What did we get from him? I hate to say this, a Mo Claiborne. We held on to that guy forever and a day. What did we get from Mo Claiborne? I'm waiting. What did we get from a Bruce Carter? What did we get from a Jason Witten? I want to know what we got from those particular players that we just held on. We're going to say they turned in the corner. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. What did we get from all of those boys that went over to the Kansas City Chiefs? We didn't will and deal. See, the difference is between us and the Patriots, and I know they are the Patriots, but they know how to will and deal. They let go of some of their marquee guys. They said, okay, we know that this guy is racking up all type of sacks. What's his name that play over there? They traded him to Arizona, for crying out loud. I'm only mad at the fact that we don't will and deal. Now, Dak Prescott, he could have said to himself, I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to get out here. We're going to go 20-0. We're going to go straight to the Super Bowl. I'm going to win every game. But there's another feeling, just like when he hurt his shoulder down there, when he played against the Philadelphia Eagles, didn't practice all that week. You saw how quick the nation turned on him? Said he's supposed to win that game. It was against a washed-up Philadelphia Eagles team. They didn't take to the account that he didn't practice all that week. They didn't take to the account that there was 5 drops in that particular game. Oh, matter of fact, you can add 6 drops. Xavier Woods wanted to play volleyball with the football. Look at the ball right in his hand. Carson Wentz delivered the ball right to him. And he said, no, patty cake. You know, and then on top of that, Robert Quinn, strip sack fumble on Carson Wentz, and everybody looking at the ball, and Carson Wentz said, okay, I think it's hot potato. I can jump on it. Chandler Jones. Yes, Taylor. They said, look, Chandler Jones, there's nobody in the NFL since the time he was traded got more sacks than Chandler Jones. But they said to themselves, we're going to get rid of you. Let me know where I'm lying, Cowboy Nation. Yes, indeed. Let me see. Shout out to you, Voch, man. That's my dog over there, man. One of the best YouTubers out there on the planet. Let me see what we have here. All right, Cowboy Nation, I got to roll. I got to bounce like a basketball. I will be talking about this a little later. Oh, I got to go. But I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to this network. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. I done outspoke my time. The lady of the house is calling, saying, baby, get over here. So let me go ahead and take care of business. But I really appreciate you all. It is what it is. Let's go. Let's continue to grind and shine, baby. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Play my outro music. Give me some fire, too. Y'all can still give me some fire, right? DC for life, man. Really appreciate you. Mo, Kerry Teagle, Deshaun, Cecil Montgomery, Big D, Woo Block. We'll be live later on tonight. The late night hype. Let's go, baby. One way or another. Let's go get this Super Bowl. Yes, I don't like it. I don't like the way it look. I don't like the way it feel. But we got $31 million on the deal for Dak Prescott, and he got to prove himself, right? So that's just what it is. Let's go, Danny Boy Campbell. Yes. Let's go. We out. Shout out to Uncle Charles, baby. You're listening to nothing but the best.